Hi guys, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to follow on from the other two festive granny squares that I've been making. So my first video I showed you how to make the snowflake granny square, and I'll put a link in the description below. And in my last video, not the last video, but the last festive granny square video that I did, I showed you how to do the Father Christmas Santa face granny square. So I'll put a link to that as well. But in this video I'm going to do the mini C2C Christmas tree square. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, so for this tutorial we need three different colours. We need the green, the white and some red. And this is all a DK light worsted weight yarn, so it's a yarn weight of 3. And with that I'm using a 4mm G crochet hook. So it's the same yarn and same hook size as the other squares, so they should all end up the same size. And the first thing we're going to do is, let's have a look at my notes, we're going to work to this little grid pattern here. So we're going to do 3, 6, 7, 8, 8 by 8 squares, and we're going to work to this design. And we're going to start off by chaining 5. So we're going to start with the white, because in corner to corner crochet C2C we start in the corner and we go diagonal till we get to the other side. So we're going to start with our background colour first, and we're going to chain 5 apparently, according to my notes. So do our little slip knot. I'll put it out frame so it doesn't focus on the wrong thing. So let's chain 5, chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're going to chain 5 and we're going to do 1 double crochet. So this pattern's in US terminology, so in UK terminology that's a treble. So we yarn over and we're going to do 1 double crochet in our 4th chain from our hook. So we don't count the loop on our hook. There's our 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So in that 4th chain, so second to last one, we're going to do a double crochet. And we're going to do 1 double crochet in the last chain as well, so the 5th chain. Okay, so that's our first square done. So that's this one here, simple as that. This little one on the corner here. You may want to make a note which direction you're going, try not to forget which way you're going. But then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 5. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're going to chain 5 at the beginning of every row, not every diagonal row. And what we're going to do then, we're going to turn our work, so flip your work over so it's facing this way. And we're going to do 1 double crochet in the 4th chain from our hook. So don't count the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same thing again. 4th chain from our hook, double crochet, and do 1 double crochet in that last chain as well. And then we're going to slip stitch in this 3 chain space. Well, this little gap here, this double crochet space. So find that gap on the end, put your hook in between there, and we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to count that as a double crochet, and we do 2 double crochet in this same gap we just slip stitched into. So go back into there and do 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Okay, so you're just wrapping it around that last double crochet, and what you've got there is your second diagonal row. So there's another square and there's another square. So now we've done that one and these two, if my camera wants to focus, that one and these two. So now we're going to do this 3rd row here, and we're going to do white, 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 so 3 whites. So we're still staying with the white at the moment. So at the beginning of each row we chain 5, we do the same thing again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a double crochet in the 4th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, then a double crochet in the last chain, and then we need to turn our work. So you need to make sure your project is facing left, and we're going to slip stitch into this gap here this time. Slip stitch into there, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do 2 double crochet in this same gap. 2 double crochet. It's the same as what we did before, but we need to do 3 squares on this row. So after your second double crochet, we'll find the next gap on the end, put your hook into there, and we're going to slip stitch into there. So that joins that over. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochet in there. So at the beginning of each row we chained 5, but then all the other squares in the row we just chained 3. So there's our third row. So there's our first row, just the 1 square, second row, those 2, then 1, 2, 3 for our third row. So we've done that one, these 2, and those 3. I was going to get a pencil and cross them off so we know which ones we've done. Okay, so I've grabbed a pencil. So we've done this one, and we've done these 2, and we've done these 3. So let's imagine we've ended here. We're going to start our next row here. We need to work out what we need to do for this row. So it's going to end here. So we need to do a white square, we need to do 1 green square, because these are all going to be green, and they're going to be red, or whatever colour you want to do. So we're going to do white, then we're going to change to the green, then end on 2 white. So let's have a go at that. So we start with a white, and we're going to chain 5, because it's the beginning of a round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do your double crochet in your 4th chain. Then do the double crochet in the last chain. And then we need to turn our work, so just the bottom part though, just turn our work. So you don't turn the whole thing, you just need to turn that so it looks like this. And we're going to slip stitch into this gap here. But we can slip stitch with the white, that's fine. Slip stitch with the white, and then we can join our green. So we're going to get our green yarn, and what I might do is probably going to carry the yarn. I'm not sure I'm going to do this yet, but we're going to yarn over with the green yarn and bring that through the loop, and then pull your white tail ends. That's nice and tight. We're not going to count that as a stitch, we're just going to join that. Then we're going to do our chain 3 but in the green. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to carry the white yarn. So going to carry the white yarn. So we're going to do our 2 double crochet now. So yarn over, go into the same gap you just slip stitched into, but just make sure the white yarn's on top of your hook. I'm going to carry that up. Do 2 double crochet in the green. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch into this gap. I'm going to rejoin the white. So I'm going to bring up the white, drop the green, do a little slip stitch to join that, and then just pull the green tight. So now working with the white again, and on next we need to do 2 white. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, then 2 double crochet in the white. I'm going to slip stitch to the next gap, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochet in this gap. Okay, so that's that row done. So we can put that down and cross off. So we've ended up down here now, so now we're going to work on this. So we've done that one, we've done a green, and we've done the 2 white. So now we're going to do 1 white, a red, a green, then a white and a white. We'll end up here. So we start off with a white, then red and a green. Okay, so do a white first, chain 5 because it's the beginning of the round, 1 row rather, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a double crochet in the 4th chain, and a double crochet in the last chain, And then we're going to turn the bottom half of our work. We're going to slip stitch into there, but we're going to join the red. So I'm going to actually join the red in the slip stitch, is probably better. So let's get our red yarn and yarn over with the red yarn, bring that through and through the loop on your hook and pull your white. Okay, I'm going to do one square in the red, so we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 2 double crochet in the red, but we're going to carry the white. I think we'll carry the white. You don't have to carry your yarn, it's up to you whether you want to rejoin stuff. I'm just going to carry it for the sake of this video so it's easier. So just make sure the white's on top of your hook, and I'm going to do 2 double crochet in the red. Okay, so that's our little red square. Then we're going to slip stitch in the next gap here, but we're going to join the green. So we're going to drop the red and pick up the green. Now the green is here, now it's at the front, so we need to bring this over to this side. Let's bring that over to this side, and we're just going to bring that through. You can grab it, bring it through that gap, through the loop on your hook, for the red yarn. Okay, because we've only got 2 red squares, what I'm actually going to do, so we don't get so tangled, so I'm just going to keep a long tail just so I've got enough to do the next square. I'm going to cut that off. So probably don't need that much at all actually. So leave a little bit of a length just to do the next square and cut that off. And then it won't get all tangled up with the green and the white, because we only need to do 2 squares in the red. So, okay, now we need to do 1 green. Don't worry, I'll put this written pattern on my website with a little grid that you can look at as well. So in case this is all a bit confusing. So we're going to chain 3 in the green and do 2 double crochet in this gap, and we're going to carry the white still. Where is Mr. White? It's down there. Do 2 double crochet in the green. Okay, and then we're going to finish on 2 whites. So I'm going to go into this next gap here, and we're going to join the white. So white's down here, we drop the green, bring up the white and slip stitch with the white and pull your green yarn to tighten that. Then finish with 2 white squares, so we're going to chain 3, 2 double crochet in the white, then we're going to slip stitch in the next gap up here and do the same thing, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and that's the end of that row. Okay, so hopefully see your tree coming together. So now bringing up our little grid pattern, so we've done a white, a red, a green and the 2 whites. So now we're onto this row, so we're going to do 2 white, 2 green, our other red, and end on a white. So we always start and finish on a white. So 2 white to begin, 2 white. Okay, so it's beginning of a row, so we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do a double crochet in the 4th chain. And a double crochet in the last chain, the 5th chain. And then we turn our work, we just turn the bottom half. So just this bottom half, we don't turn this top bit. We're going to slip stitch into this gap. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do your next square in white. 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Okay, so we've done the 2 white squares. Now we need to do 2 green squares. So we're going to put our hook into the next gap, but we're going to slip stitch the green instead of the white. So my green's over here. I'm just going to bring that to the front. Any of these little carry bits here. This is probably why you want to work out how much yarn you need and maybe just cut the yarn and rejoin it so you don't get these lines. But you could always have it on the back if you're consistent. So it might be a little bit messy in my video, just so I can show you quickly what to do. So I've joined the green, the slip stitch, and now I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to do 2 squares in the green, but I'm going to carry the white. So where is he gone? There we go. 2 double crochet. So hopefully you're getting the gist of this pattern, and you can just go to my website and grab the graph pattern. Save time. Slip stitch into the next gap. Just going to make sure I carry the white. And then do another green square. So I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Carry the white. 2 double crochet. Okay, and then what do we need to do next? A red square next. So making sure your red yarn's at the back. Put our hook into this gap now. Instead of joining the green, we're going to join the red. Tighten your green. Then chain 3 and do your other red square. Still going to carry the white though. So 2 double crochet. Bring up this white. We'll just rejoin the white. Not rejoin the white. You can rejoin it in the last square. 2 double crochet. So there is our other red square. So we finish with the red now. I'm going to finish on 1 white square. So slip stitch into there and slip stitch with the white, or rejoin the white. It's probably better. And chain 3, 2 double crochet. Now I've done various C2C projects, and I've carried the yarn. I've always carried the yarn, but I actually think it's probably better to rejoin the yarn. So, and then it avoids having these little things appear in your project like that. So where I've been just rejoining the yarn, you probably want to just rejoin it freshly. It'll look better. Okay, but we've done that row. And so here we are. So we know we're up here, done the 2 white, 2 green, the other red, and a white. So now we're going to be on this row. So 2 white, 3 green, 2 white. Now we've finished with our red. I'm not doing any more red. So we can cut our red right down now. Don't worry, nothing goes to waste. I always use my scraps for stuffing. So that's good. And where have I put my hook? We're going to start with 2 white. Okay. Get some more yarn. And so chain 5, because we're at the beginning row. 2, 3, 4, 5. A double crochet in the 4th chain from our hook. And a double crochet in the last chain. And then again, just holding that in the same direction, twist the bottom, slip stitch into that gap. We're doing 2 white this time, so chain 3, 2 double crochet in the same gap you just slip stitched into. Okay, and now, according to the graph, got 3 green to do. So I'm going to slip stitch into there, but instead of slip stitching with the white, we're going to slip stitch with the green. Now where's my green? Bring him to the back and yarn over with the green and bring that through and slip stitch. Then tighten your white. We're going to do 3 green squares. So chain 3 and do 2 double crochet in there. I'm going to carry my yarn, but I would honestly just rejoin it, as I keep saying. 2 double crochet in there and slip stitch into the next gap, making sure to carry the white. What I did do on one big project is chain 3 and then 2 double crochet, is I carried the yarn for the whole project and then I just cut the pieces and then sewed them in afterwards. You could do it that way as well. I did that on my big cat project. I did a C2C cat. I'll have to share the design for that at some point. And slip stitch into the next one, making sure to catch the white, chain 3, 2 double crochet. Then we're finishing up on 2 white, so put our hook into there, we're going to drop the green and just bring up the white, tighten the green. Okay, then we're going to chain 3, 2 double crochet, and do our last 2 white squares. Slip stitch in that next gap there, and then this row is finished. Two double crochet. Okay, so there's that row. See it coming together. You see that white standing out. Okay, so we've done that one, the 3 green, the 2 white. Okay, so it's our last increase row before we start decreasing here. We're going to do 3 white, 3 green, and then 2 white. So let's do that. So 3 white to begin. Okay, so we chain 5, this is at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, double crochet in the 4th chain. So hopefully you got the general idea of this pattern so far. I'm sure you could do a much neater job than me. Right, twist the bottom half, slip stitch into the gap, do your next white square, chain 3, 2 double crochet. That's our second square. The camera won't focus. Slip stitch into the next gap and do another white square. Chain 3, 2 double crochet. Then we need to do, how many green was it? Let's have a look. So we've done 3, right, we need to do 3 in green. So I'm going to make sure my yarn, green yarn, is at this side. Put my hook into that gap and then grab the green instead. Pull the white. Okay, now we're working with our green. I'm going to do 3 green squares. Chain 3, 2 double crochet. I'm just going to carry my yarn. 1, 2 double crochet, isn't it? Yes, 2 double crochet, I'm not paying attention. Then slip stitch into there, do chain 3, 2 double crochet. That's our second green square. Then slip stitch in the next gap, bringing this white up, do our last green square, chain 3, 2 double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to finish on 2 white squares, so slip stitch into there, but bring up the white instead, slip stitch with the white and do 2 white squares, chain 3, just 2 double crochet, chain, slip stitch, chain 3 and 2 double crochet. Okay, so that's that row done. Let's have a look at our pattern. So we've done these 3 white, 3 green, 2 white, and now we're going to move around to the side, which means we're decreasing now. So and we're going to do 1 white, then 1, 2, 3, 4 green, and then 2 white, and we're going to end up here. So we need to decrease. Now to decrease, what we're going to do is we just don't do a chain 5. Instead, this white yarn's really annoying me because it's all like just really badly wrapped up. Look. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little chain 1 don't count that as a stitch. Turn your whole project and slip stitch over to this gap. So I'm going to do a little slip stitch in that first stitch, slip stitch in this second stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch then into this gap. Okay, so that cuts off any square there, and then we go straight into doing a square, and we need to do just the one white square, and we just do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So effectively our first square where we would have chain 5, we slip stitched instead. So chain 3, then 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Then we need to do 4 green squares, so I'm going to slip stitch into this gap here. But green yarn's here, so I'm just going to bring that to this side, bring that through, slip stitch, pull my white down, and I'm going to do 4 green squares. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 2 double crochet. Just going to carry the white for the sake of this video, wherever it is. 2 double crochet, slip stitch into the next gap, next square, chain 3, 2 double crochet, then slip stitch, chain 3. So our third square, and then our last square, 4th square, slip stitch, chain 3, two double crochet, and then I'm going to rejoin the white to do 2 squares. So slip stitch into there, drop the green, yarn over with the white, and then do 2 squares in the white. Slip stitch and the last square. 2 double crochet. We're going to stop there because we know we only do 2, and just slip stitch into that last gap, but we're not going to chain 3 and do any more because we're decreasing now. So we know, that's why it's good to make sure you do these crosses like I do, so you know that you only did 2 white at the end. So we did the 1 white, the 4 green, ended on 2 white. Still decreasing, we're going to start here, do 1 white, now 1, 2, 3 in green, ending on 2 white down here. We're still decreasing, so what we're going to do is we are just going to turn our work straight away. I'm not going to chain 1, I'm just going to slip stitch. You just slip stitch over to the first gap. As neatly as you can. We can do a much neater job than I'm doing, and slip stitch into that gap. Then we do our first square, which is just 1 white square. We chain 3, we only chain 3 now because we're decreasing. Do 2 double crochet, 1, 2, and then we're going to do 1, 2, 3 green squares, 3 green. So I'm going to slip stitch into there, but I'm going to slip stitch my green to bring that to the front, join my green instead, and then do 3 green squares. So chain 3, carry the white, one, and then slip stitch into the next gap. Do our next one, chain 3. See a tangled mess. 2 double crochet. So this is our second green square. Slip stitch, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and that's our last green square. So we're only doing 3 green squares. I'm going to end on 2 white squares, so I'm going to drop the green and slip stitch with the white. And then do 2 white squares. So hopefully you got the gist of how to do this, how to increase and decrease. So if you want to get the written pattern and the graph, the full graph that you can follow, just go to my website at happyberry.co.uk and you can print off the graph pattern or copy it, and that'll be much quicker probably than following this video. Which I don't normally say, but once you learnt the basics of what you have to do, then slip stitch there, then the rest should be self-explanatory. And there we go, we stopped there, done our 2 green. So we've ended up, we started here, so we've done the 1 green, 3 green, 1 white, 3 green, 2 white. Now we're doing 1, 2, 3 green and our 3 white, 1 green. So it's our last green square, which is good. So we're doing 3 white squares. So we turn our work straight away, we don't want to increase anymore, and slip stitch over to the gap. 1, 2, and then slip stitch into the gap. And we need to do 3 white squares, wasn't it? Yes. So chain 3 and do your 3 white squares. So that's the first one. Slip stitch. Do the next one. And I'm going to make sure this green is in the right place. Make sure it's at this side. Slip stitch, and the green's down here, so I'm actually just going to carry that green up so it's in the right place. Do our last white square. Then we're doing the 1 green, so slip stitch, drop the white, pick up the green, rejoin the green, do a green square. Carry the white. So that's our last green square for the whole pattern, and we're going to end on 1 white square. So drop the green, pick up the white, slip stitch the white, and what I'm going to do is, because this colour's getting all tangled, I can now cut the green and move that out of the way. And now we're just working with the white. So finish up our last white square for this row. And slip stitch. There we go, so that row's done. So we've done 3 white, 1 green, then the white. So we're starting here, we're just doing 4 white, and we're going to finish up all the way to the end. So we're doing 4 whites now. So same thing again, we're just going to turn our work straight away and slip stitch over. And then slip stitch into the gap, And we're just doing white, aren't we? 4 white squares, so chain 3, 2 double crochet, and slip stitch, next square, chain 3, 2 double crochet, slip stitch in the gap, third square, chain 3, 2 double crochet, then slip stitch and do your last square, chain 3, 2 double crochet. Then just slip stitch in the next gap to finish that row. So that was just the 4 white squares. Then we do 3 white squares. Turn your work straight away, slip stitch over, slip stitch into the gap, and do 3 white squares. Chain 3, 2 double crochet, slip stitch, chain 3, 2 double crochet, second square, slip stitch, and do our last square, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and then slip stitch. Okay, so we've done those 3. Da, 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 da. Then we'll do these 2, just 2 squares. So just turn your work straight away, slip stitch over, slip stitch into the gap, do 2 white squares, chain 3, 2 double crochet, slip stitch, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and then slip stitch. That's done those 2, that's finished that row, just the 2, and then all that's left is that last one there. So finish that off, we just turn, slip stitch over, and then slip stitch into there, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and then slip stitch to finish, and that's it. It is finished. There is your little C2C square. So then we can cut. Oh no, don't cut your yarn. You can cut yarn, but don't cut yarn. What I actually did for this one is I added some single crochets around the edge as neatly as I can, doing 2 in the corner. So I'm just going to do that before we completely finish. So, but if I just pause there, obviously we've got some big tails to sew in, and you see where I've carried the white yarn, so you may wish to rejoin the white yarn if it stands out too much. It's the same on both sides, or you could just leave it in and say it looks like tinsel. It's entirely up to you, especially if you use a sparkly yarn on the outside. But just to make sure that it fits the other squares, because at the moment it's just slightly smaller, very, very slightly smaller, I just added a single crochet trim. So I'm going to do a little chain 1, and then I'm just going to work some stitches neatly around the edge. So I'm going to do a couple in that gap, that one in there, another one, single crochet. So in UK terminology these are double crochet. Next gap, do a single crochet, and then in the next stitch maybe. So just work them neatly around the edge, as neatly as you can. corners, just going to work a couple of stitches, then so I did 2 in there, and then I'm going to do another 2 in there to go in the opposite direction, starting a new row, and that will create a neater corner, just adding a few extra in the corner. And just continue like that all the way around, just working single crochets neatly around the edge back to the beginning. So almost back at the beginning, so another 2 in there for the corner, then almost back to the beginning. So I've just worked 1 single crochet neatly around the edge, doing a few extra in the corners to get a nice turn, and try to work to a even stitch count, so you have the same amount of stitches at the top and the bottom and either side. But there we go, there is our finished C2C, our mini C2C granny square with the Christmas tree, and that now with the single crochets on top should be the same size as your other squares. So there we go. And yes, so like I said, I'll put the graph pattern, I'll put this design on my website so you can go and download that, print that off. Yeah. So I think that's it. So like I said in my other videos, I showed you how to do this one, and they should all be the same size. And I'm still looking for suggestions for the very last square. I'm thinking of just 1 more square to do here, make this a little set, and then you can just repeat them and make it into a blanket if you want to. So any suggestions on what you would like appearing for the 4th one, let me know in the description below, because I've run out of ideas. But I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. Just to show you actually what I've done now, these bits that I carried across, I've cut them, the white bits, I've cut them in the middle, and now I've got these little tail ends that I can sew in, and then that gets rid of the sort of white yarn in the middle. So yeah, so I'm going to hide all these tail ends and I'll show you the finished square. And there we go, I've just hidden all my tail ends, and there we go, there is a much neater looking Christmas tree to go with the other one. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.